So hello, thank you very much for coming to the housekeeping webinar, also known as Getting Ready for 2025. And let's see what we got. Oh, and you have Stephen to thank for these adorable slides, so you can enjoy the antics of Mr. Bill and Mr. Sloth throughout the presentation. So if your mind is drifting, you can use that as entertainment. Okay, here we go. So start with our inspirational quote from Alexander Graham Bell. Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. And that's true for BillTrack50. If you do a little bit of stuff, the things that we recommend ahead of time, then that should make it a lot easier when you transition into session early next year. All right, so let's see what those things are. But first, hi, I'm Karen. If we haven't met, happy to have you here. And then we've got Patsy. I'm going to say hi to everybody. Patsy, tell them what you do.
Hi, everybody. My job is to try to help you have a successful time using the tool.
Patsy's job is your success. Take advantage of it because she means it. She has a big heart, a Christmas-sized heart. And we also have Stephen joining us. Today, he'll be wrangling questions. Normally, he wrangles data. Would you like to say hi to everybody, Stephen?
Hi, yes, I do a bit of everything, help with the website and data and some customer stuff as well.
So if you are ever missing a vote or see something whack, just you can drop a note straight to Stephen and he'll try to sort that out.
Right.
But you can always write to me or Patsy and we will give it to Stephen if it's a data thing. So you don't have to keep track. But if you do like want an immediate answer, then Stephen's available to you as well. And then there's Michael, who's not with us today. Probably a lot of you have spoken to him in the past. He's our like legislative expert. So if you have questions about what a bill actually means, Michael's your guy. If you would like to just be successful, Patsy's your gal. And then I'm just here for anything you need. So please do reach out to us. We love to hear from you. All right, so here we go. We're going to be talking about the new features that we've introduced this year. So if you haven't been in all summer, no problem. We have some new stuff we want to make sure that you know about. And so we'll go through all of those, and that's where we're going to start. If that's really what you came for, totally fine to bail after that. And hopefully you leave inspired about the new features. And then there is the things that we suggest you do every year to get your account ready to go. And so we'll walk through that. That's what we call our housekeeping. And that's just making sure everything's neat and ready to go. Then we've got our rolling over. So how to move everything into the new year. And depending how you have your account set up, that might be just a little bit of stuff and that might be a lot of stuff. So that is, since BillTrack50 is so flexible, you may have set it up this way or that way. So we'll kind of go over those things. We have some subscription changes, which we've already announced, so this probably isn't news to you, but just in case it escaped you, we will go over all of those changes to how we have structured subscriptions and changed our pricing. And then we will give you a little preview for what we're working on coming up. And I have kind of an exciting new thing, two exciting new things to throw in there that aren't even on the slides yet. But we've got some stuff that we're looking at next year. And obviously, I'll be asking you what your ideas are for what you think we should add to BillTrack50. All of our ideas, most of our ideas are from you. We merely aim to serve. All right, so let's do this thing. Patsy, you ready?
Ready.
Stephen, all lights green. You on the comms. Okay, here we go.
Oh yeah.
All right, so starting out with what's new. The biggest thing, of course, is all of the AI features that we were able to introduce over the summer. Hopefully you've noticed a few of them. Hopefully they'll be making your life easier, but I want to make sure that you know about all of them. So the biggest one is the recommended bills. So I will show you that with a live demo on BillTrack50. We also have its little brother, similar bills, which is pretty fun. I think Patsy and I have wasted a lot of time looking at similar bills because it's so fun. And Stephen, you too, for all of the blog posts, right? It's pretty good. And then bill summaries, which are just way better than we ever hoped for. So let me show you where all those things are in BillTrack50. So I've got my account here. And so we can just kind of dive into one of these bill sheets, of which I have so many. And deepfakes is a favorite of mine. So let's look at that. All right, so we've got our bills here. Great. And then they're about mostly deep fakes. So my query was, I went back in time a little bit, which deep fakes is a pretty new topic, so I didn't go back in time too far. I'm looking across the whole country, and I just wanted any bill that said deep fake, but also mentioned election campaign candidate, something like that. So I'm talking about the political sense of deep fake. Fine. So these are the bills that come back from that. Uh, Now, you'll notice I have added for myself an AI summary column. So you can now add in a column called AI summary, which will give you a quick AI summary, generated summary. This is great. So that just go to your template, throw in AI summary, see if it helps save you time. We're hoping that this will really help you figure out if you want to eliminate this bill. Probably you'll still want to go read it to see what it says if it seems like it's relevant to you, but it should be good enough and trustworthy enough for you to be able to figure out if you don't care about this bill. All right, so I've got 98 bills right now, which is more than I had last week. There's been some new bills. And I've got this new similar button down here. So what the AI is going to do is try to figure out what these bills have in common. So it's not taking into account my search terms. It's taking into account what these bills are about. And it's trying to read my mind and figure out what topic does this imply I care about. And then it's going to go get bills like that and show them to me that aren't already on my list. So it's just going to get me new bills. So that means it's going to leave out these bills, these 98 bills. So every bill that says deepfake and election is going to not be on those results because I've already seen them. It's going to remove anything that I've removed. So it's not going to show me the things I've hidden either. So it's just going to show me new bills I haven't seen yet. So I'm going to click similar. It's going to go get those bills and give me the top 100. And it's going to put them in order of the most similar on down. So as you read down these, they'll be less and less relevant. And it says, hey, here's this thing about deceptive audio or visual media. Here's deepfake recordings or images, artificial intelligence, synthetic media, and elections. So clearly, like, this is relevant to me. So that might tell me, one, I can just add this bill to my bill sheet and start tracking it, and say, yep, that one matters. Or I can say, deceptive synthetic media, great phrase, and add it to my query. So I can use this either as a research tool to figure out like what's been introduced like this in the last few years, whatever the time frame is I set up. And if my query was just one state, it would give me just one state for the results. So it respects what you have on the query tab for state and for years. Or I can use this as a way to figure out like what are the terms, what are they saying these days? So it's a security blanket or it's a research tool. But hopefully you'll see a million ways that you can use this to be useful to you. All right, so what year is that's from 2024? Great. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Connecticut bill. And so now you see we've got this AI summary right here. So that's available on each tab, on each bill. It'll be right here on the summary tab for you. Now, if you find one that isn't the greatest summary, or it's just gobbledygook, which we've had once or twice, and we did have one reported that just wasn't the greatest summary, then report it and we'll get in there and we'll improve it. So we'll either run it again or we'll actually, unfortunately, Stephen finds himself occasionally writing his own little summary to make it better. So do report it if you notice one that's just not very good. But we have had, people have looked at millions of bills and we've only had literally a handful of reports. Is that because no one bothers? I don't know. But I think they're actually pretty good. I think you'll be pretty happy. Right, so that's the AI summary. And now here we have this button here, similar bills, which is going to do something.
Sorry, Karen, just before we move on to look at similar bills,
Uh,
there's been some comments about summaries. So we do have a question whether we can make the AI summaries to be all in bullets. And then another comment that apparently we have some dead space at the end of the AI summaries that I wasn't aware of. So maybe we could look into that. But generally speaking, I think people are liking them.
Good. I have found them to be a huge time saver. So I am taking a second right now to write about the dead space. Yes, if that's the case, then we should fix that. So I will go through and make sure that those are as clean as possible. As far as the bullet points, sometimes the AI does them in numbered lists. Sometimes it does them in bullets, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm.
So we could force it to do that, but I don't know. We'll experiment with that. Good suggestion. Maybe we'll take a poll sometime soon, so keep your eyes out for that. Thank you for the comments on the AI summaries. And also, I hope that you.
And just one other point as well about how often does the AI summary update?
That is a very relevant question. Thank you. So obviously we generate the summary the first time we see the bill, but we also regenerate the summary every time we get an amended version of the bill. So every time that they update the bill and there's new text in there, we will regenerate the summary. So it should always be updated as to the most recent version of the bill. So we update it however often they amend the bill. Hopefully that's what you were getting at. So that's that answer. Okay, thank you. Those were good. All right, so we've got the summaries, we've got the recommended bills where we're like, what's your topic? Here's some bills you might care about. And then finally, we have this similar bills here. So this is the third and final AI tool that I'll be highlighting. So this lets you see what bills are like this across the country. So in this current session. So it's doing a very specific thing, but it is a very exciting, fun thing. And yeah, me and Patsy spend a lot of time looking at these. So this is not like trying to figure out a topic or anything. So if you see a bill that is interesting to you and you are curious, is this bill a model bill and a bunch of states have done it? This is how you can find out. Or if you want to just double check real quick, did it have a companion in the other chamber? This will absolutely find that. Or if you're just like, hey, what are other states doing? And is there good language that I can steal to use? Or can I show my legislator that this is passed or failed in other states, and that will help my argument? This is just a good way to discover bills on the same topic. And you can see that here it actually came up with some pretty similar stuff. And so as we go down, again, these are in score order. So as we go down, they get less similar. But if they're quite similar at the top, then it's a model bill or it's a companion. But notice this is a full bill sheet grid. So I can say, you know what, show me just Oklahoma right now, and it'll narrow down and show you whatever. You can also sort and filter because you can always put it back into score order anytime you want. So you could say, well, I'm really only curious in what made it all the way through. So here's 20 bills like this one that actually did pass, right? So that's how you can use this to figure out what's going on across the country. So hopefully this will be a valuable tool for you as well from time to time. So that is the AI features. Patsy, anything I missed out talking about?
No, yeah, I think, horse webinar around. The script is very solid.
Karen, she learns. It's great. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. Go back to our presentation. All right, what other new features do we have? All right, so we have worked very hard on regulation tracking. So if you've been looking at regulations, hopefully you've just noticed those get better and better all year round. So first, we finished, and we have all 50 states, Congress, and DC. So our coverage is complete. Great news. Second, we have been working on breaking out the individual reg from the bulletin. And we just finished Arizona, and we're about to publish Pennsylvania. So we're down to just a handful of states to go. So when you look at the reg, you have a good title. You can see what the agency is. You can see if it's proposed or if it's final. All of that stuff is just much easier to deal with. Once we're finished with all 50, and like I said, we're close, then we'll be able to add that to the grid so that the regulation grid will be better, and you'll be able to search by some of those things, like the agency. So that's all stuff coming in 2025. But for now, the grid itself, just with our better broken out regs, is just more and more useful. So hopefully, if you look at regs, you've been enjoying those improvements throughout the year. And to the degree we've sent some duplicate reg alerts because we sent it with the bulletin and then later we sent it when it was broken out. Sorry, under construction. Hopefully that didn't cause you too much trouble. But that's nearly done. And so we're just about ready to move on to the next phase of the regulation stuff. So yeah,
Karen, just one question on regulations. Is there still a widget?
is there still a way? Yes. So we have the map widget for regulations. So you can definitely still use that. It will be more useful once we're done with the next phase. But yeah, you can definitely use our map widget right now, and it's better. It'll be more useful to you now, and it'll be even more useful to you next year. Okay. And then some other stuff. So we built out a whole new help center, and today launched a chat bot. Woo! Very excited about that. And legislator improvements. We've added some data to the legislators. We've added some more information about their staff. We've put in information about committees, and we've tied the committees in the bills. Anyway, there's some legislator improvements. We added in committee categories so that you can now narrow by, did it go to an education committee? Did it go to a labor committee? Or you can just see it as a column. So you can add that as a column to your bill sheet, so that you can see like what a bill got referred to help you understand like what kind of bill it is. And then state stats. You don't want to sleep on state stats. That's always getting better. So let me just show you real quick the chat feature in the Help Center so that you can use that if you ever have a question. All right, so on the home screen, we've got the Help Center right in the middle for you. Or if you're just on BillTrack50 homepage, it's in the menu here. So this little guy is going to get bigger. This is still just, like I said, we just put this up today. But I can say, all right, how do I add a new user? And so then it'll give you links to some of our articles, or you can just say, tell me, how do I add a new user? And it'll say, here's what you do. And so it'll link to our articles, but then it'll actually give you the step-by-step instructions. So if you have any questions, by all means, Patsy and I are always happy to help, but this guy, surprisingly good. We've been real happy. And that's only going to get better as well. So if you do have questions, the Help Center actually has a new little chatty guy, because now you can add a follow-up. Does it cost anything? And then it'll just follow up, and it is an actual chat. So hopefully that proves useful to you. And no, it does not cost anything. Way to go, chatbot. Okay, so that is a new feature. What do you think of that, Patsy?
Pretty excited about it this morning, talking to Stephen and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. And then I
said improvements. Doing quite well.
Yeah. So please do give us feedback on that too. And then I said don't sleep on state stats, and I just about forgot about it. So I'm going to click on California. So as you know, we've got like all this information for you, blah, 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 bills got passed, wasn't that great, and so forth. We have added like how many bills went to each committee type, and then what committees passed the most bills, so you can see like where the effort is each session, which is actually pretty interesting. And then we have added this state budget link, which goes to NASBO, which is pretty handy. And we are constantly trying to keep this sucker updated. So by all means, send us information if you think we're missing something, but don't forget this is all here just to help you. Plus, it's just fun to look at. So State Stats is available, and that is available to anyone. So you don't have to have a subscription. So if you like want to share this link to somebody, you can. Anybody can see it. So tell your friends. Okay, so that is some of the improvements. Hopefully those will also be time savers.
Don't forget the social media.
Oh, that wasn't even on the screen. So we also, ta-da-da, just made a Blue Sky account. So you can follow us in Blue Sky if you want to. But we have, go ahead, Stephen, they're yours. You do it.
Well, so we launched a Substack this year, so we're now on Substack, and we write articles there, and we also post videos, which also go to our new podcast, BillTrack50 Beyond the Bill Number, which you can find anywhere you get your podcasts. So me and Sarah talking about the sort of interesting and crazy legislation we've come across.
Yep, and things that people have clicked on a lot. So either hot topics or interesting topics. And there's also TikTok if you want to watch the videos on TikTok. You can do that as well. Beyond the Bill number. Enjoy. Actually, they're pretty fun. So I would suggest checking it out. Follow it if you decide you like it. Okay, so that is the new features. So hopefully, if you're old hand at that, some of those look exciting and you can't wait to try them. If you are new, then maybe that's how BillTrack50's always been, and you're surprised to find that we didn't always have AI summaries. But anyway, so moving on, housekeeping. There's some things that we suggest you do in your account now-ish to get ready for the new year. So thank you for coming to this so that we can show them to you. This is all, we do this for you guys. Okay, so first, users. As I just emphasized with my chatbot discussion, you can have as many users in the account as you want. You have unlimited users in your subscription. So we like you to add users and not share a password, because that lets everybody customize their alerts and get the emails that they need for the information they want, which helps everybody just be more effective. So we do encourage you to set up as many users as you actually need. And they don't have to be in your organization. They don't have to have your domain. Like, you can share with anyone you're collaborating with, or with a third party lobbyist or whatever. So please do add users. That's what it's there for. However, because of that, you might have extra users that are no longer relevant. So in return for our generosity, we ask you to once a year go in your user list and remove anyone who's not relevant anymore. So if somebody has left, or you're not using them, or for whatever reason they've changed roles, you can just delete them, which does not delete their work. It only removes their access. So any bill sheets they made are still going to be in the account. It just means we're not sending them alerts anymore, and they can't access the account anymore. So we ask that you go ahead and remove anybody and take a look. Is there somebody you forgot to add? So if there's somebody new you need to add, then this would be a great time to do that. And maybe set up a training with me or Patsy so that they're ready to go when the new year starts. And remember that people have different permission levels. So you might want to, if it's practical, double check that everybody's permission level is set where you expected it to be. And thanks to some great requests from our very smart and also quite attractive customers, we have a new customer management tool. Okay, so, or a permission management, so that you can see a summary of what everybody can see. So I'm going to do that. So here's the people that can see bill sheets in mine. So we've got me, I can see stuff. We've got Michael, he can see a whole lot of stuff. And so I can open this up and see, like, he's got 99 bill sheets and 22 stakeholder pages. Or I can, this is just a bill sheet grid. I can say group it by sheet instead. And I can say, okay, who can see my Alabama sheet, and open that up and see that it is, oh, I have two things called Alabama. What else do I have in here? My barbecue bills. So Phil can see that. Trent can see that. So this is a great way to remind yourself, can everybody see the sheet that I thought could see the sheet? Or what can a certain person see? So either way you want to take a look at it, it's a good way to just double check. People can see the things you think they should, and to show you if they're seeing something they shouldn't. So that's just a quick way for you to review all of your users and what they can see. Just there, trying to help. Okay, so that is, please review your users. First housekeeping task. Next. Well, any other user stuff, Patsy, before I go next? Oh, too late, I went next. Anything you want to throw out about users?
No, you're on a roll. Keep going.
You're not in a chatty mood today. Okay, second up, you've got a big long list of bill sheets. I have a big long list of bill sheets. It would behoove me, and maybe you, to go through and remove the ones that you actually don't need anymore. So if you made something that you were just dorking around with, or it was like a one-time question you had, you can just go to the Manage tab and delete any bill sheet you genuinely just don't need anymore. And making that list shorter just will make your life easier. You can also archive anything that you don't want to actually delete because it was interesting, but you're not going to use it next year. So on the Manage tab, instead of delete, there's an archive. And I'll be showing you this in a second. There's an archive checkbox. And so that will just put it away. And I will show you exactly what I mean by put it away. But that way, it's just out of the way. It moves to the bottom. We stop updating it. And you can still access it, but it's out of your way. So if there are things that you actually aren't going to use next year, you can either delete them if you really never need to see it again, or archive it if you're a pack rat, or if you're building up a library of like how it went every year. If you archive it, you can also then hide it from yourself. So if you're not going to need it very often, you can just like hide it, and I'll show you that too. And then it's not in your way at all, but it's still available for you to go get if you do need it. Same goes for all your reg sheets. Go through and just get rid of what you don't need, archive what you, well, for reg sheets, you just put an end date on it. And then it's just out of your way. So let's take a quick look at how you hide a bill sheet from yourself. All right, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, okay, so I've got this GMO sheet, and I decided I'm not worried about GMO anymore. It's fine. So then I can come up here to manage, and I can either just delete it and say, you know what, I just don't care anymore, or I can archive it. And if I archive it, save that, then it marks it archived so that I'm reminded. It removes the X so I can't accidentally remove a bill because I was trying to save this as it is. It also takes the query and grays it out so that you can't accidentally make changes, just to help you remember, oh, I was done with this, I'm putting it away so I can refer to it later. You can always uncheck this if you're like, oh, wait, I do need to make a change. But yeah, so this will no longer run every night, which is doing us a favor. So it's not going to check for new bills anymore. But if the last action or the sponsors or the progress changes, like we will update that information in the bill sheet, but we're not going to add any more bills to it. So this is just going to stay. This is the list of bills you were looking at, and you can refer back to it anytime. Now, if I don't think I need to see GMO anytime soon, then I can come up to manage users, and I can manage myself and say edit, and then that lets me go to my bill sheets and say I'm just going to use this filter up here and look for my GMO sheet. And here I can just, instead of manage, I'm going to say none, and then that will take it out of my list entirely. And if I change my mind and I do want to see it in the future, I can just come back here and find GMO and set it to manage again. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that from myself, and then that will take it out of the list. Now it'll actually take a couple minutes to get removed from here. Oh, no, I take it back. It's gone. So there we go. I've hidden it from myself. Great. So now I'm just a tiny bit tidier. Got a little ways to go to get this into order, but you see the idea. So that is well worth doing. Just so that this list is exactly what you need. Might as well start well focused with a clean desk, if you will. Okay, Patsy, this is really your domain. Thoughts, suggestions, further advice?
You're on a roll. I mean, yeah, just take a minute, pay your future self. Doesn't necessarily relate to archiving, but I've been on a drumbeat about just titling things well, especially in a multi-user account. But other than that, thank you.
That's, yeah, two good points. So January you will thank you, December you for whatever work you do now. But that's a good point that we didn't put on the slide, but we should. That actually just kind of naming them. So like if you had any where you had just slapped a name in there, like making them nice and consistent, and like, yeah, good names, making sure everyone has their initials on it. If you're sharing with a bunch of people, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's a good favor you can do for yourself too. Good names. And now's a good time looking at them all to get that neatened up. Okay, so that is step 2 of housekeeping. You've looked at your users, you've looked at your sheets. As long as you are in there, you might as well review your alerts. So, word to the wise, if you added a bill sheet over the summer, remember that new bill sheets don't have any alerts checked. So we don't start emailing you automatically when you create a new bill sheet. You have to go to the alerts tab and tell us what emails you want. So if you made it over the summer, you may not have realized you forgot to set alerts because you weren't expecting any because the state was out of session. So please do go through your bill sheets and just make sure you have the alerts set like you want. We will always get a flood of questions in January saying, why am I not getting an alert? And it's probably because you forgot to check the box. So we're happy to help you with that. We'll even go in and check the box for you. But save yourself the trouble and just take a quick look now that all of your most important sheets, you actually do have the alert set like you think you do. It's good. It's good. Do that. And as long as you're going through it, you might as well take a quick peek at your query terms to make sure no new words have come up or there's nothing else you want to fix up. So just a quick little look-see, go through your sheets, a little bit of a, just double check. Just double check. So depending on how many sheets you have, that may or may not be practical. If you can look at them all, wonderful. If you want to just look at your priority ones, that's a great place to start. So check your most important sheets to make sure that your alerts are how you want and your queries are what you think they are. Okay, so that should do it for housekeeping. Now you're all neat and tidy and everything is ready for new stuff to come in. So let's talk about how to move your sheets up so that new stuff can come in. Unless Patsy has something to say.
I have 2 things. Karen will get to this later. So a little preview. If you've been to your alerts tab, you might see a new box in there. So even if you're like, oh my gosh, my alerts are golden, I'm the best, there is a new thing on the menu. And then also, if you're on the newer side, alerts can be strategic. So she has said repeatedly what you want them to be. Well, what you want them to be is strategic depending on what you're doing with the sheet, who you are, if you're sharing the account with other people, what their role is. So she's just like hitting the surface of that. So you have questions about how to strategize around your alerts, check out the help center or ask one of us. But that's kind of the second layer beneath just how you want them to be. Some of you might be going, I don't know how I want them to be, and that's okay. We can help you with that. Because like all great things in life, the answer is it depends.
Yes, very good. And true, different alert settings for different people. So if you're not sure what kind of people you are, drop Patsy a note. She'll ask you a couple questions and we'll get it just right. Okay, so here we have a little Bill rolling over. He's very cute. And a little sloth taking a snapshot. Stephen, you're great. Okay, so let's talk about how you get your bill sheet ready to start getting 2025 bills. Here we go. So first, before you throw away your 2024 bills, we strongly recommend you take a snapshot of your bill sheet. You've already seen the highlights of how that works, but I'm going to walk through it anyway. You copy the sheet, give the copy a name, archive the copy. The reason that we recommend you do it that way and don't just change your main sheet, or don't just like put away your main sheet and make a new main sheet, is if you do it this way, if you leave your main sheet alone and take the copy and archive it, then your widgets will keep working. Anyone you shared with the bill sheet will still see the bill sheet. If you have a map, that'll keep working. Your alerts will keep working. So if you've got a main bill sheet that's been working well for you, don't mess with it. Take a snapshot and put away the snapshot. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Here we go. Okay. So let's say that I've got this, I don't know. Sure, marketplace facilitators, wonderful. So I've got these bills And I have done a little bit of work. I have either removed bills that were not relevant, I have added in some comments, or I have put in my position or whatever, but I've worked on this. And so if you haven't changed a single thing, then it's not that important to take a snapshot. But if you've done any work on it, including just removing bills that aren't relevant, then you probably should go ahead and take a snapshot. So here's how you do that. You go to the Manage tab and you say copy. So I'm going to give this, just click copy, and then you need to give it a good name. And so I would suggest something to remind you what it is. So this is going to be 2024 Marketplace Facilitator Laws. And then when I click the copy button, it makes that sheet and opens it for me. So you can see here from the name, I am now looking at the copy. I'm looking at the 2024 Facilitator Laws. Great. So now I can go to the Manage tab and say Archive. And now I have saved and preserved this bill sheet in case I want to refer back to it anytime in the future. So now I can see what bills I had added. I can see what bills I had removed. I can just go back and look and count how many bills that I have from Colorado that year. Whatever. It's here for me to use however I want. And now you also have that safety net of if we go now make changes to the main Marketplace Facilitator Laws, you know that you have everything saved. So if you like somehow screw it up, you have this copy that you can go back to. So we definitely recommend you take snapshots of everything that you've worked on, done work on, or anything that's important to you before you make changes. So take the snapshot first, put that away safely, and all I mean is archive it, and that keeps it nice, safe, and sound before you make any other changes. And that way you know that you've got that fallback position. And so you don't have to panic if you mess something up. You can always just put it back. Now, this copy you can hide from yourself. So you don't have to leave it in your account if you don't want to. You can go up and do that manage users hide thing. So you can just put it completely away and then just get it out if you ever wonder what you did last year or the year before or the year before. So for those of you who have been with us for years, you should have a nice library now of like the different stuff you've looked at over years, which you can create a roll-up of and do a bunch of counts of and look at some stats. And anyway, it's all good. It's good. Make these snapshots. You won't be sorry. Okay. Now, once I've done the snapshot and I know that I have all my work saved, then I can go ahead and work on my bill sheet to roll it over to the new year. So if you've been with us for years, you might remember when it was purely the timeline. If you're newer, then your bill sheets probably all say current session, and so they will roll themselves over. I will show you that. So it could be you need to make an adjustment. It could be that they're ready to go. But you probably do want to do a little bit of housekeeping on your bill sheet and remove the old bills and clean out your hidden bills. So let me explain. All right, so here I am. I'm going to go back to the main. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Let's go back to my FOIA. All right, so here I've got some bills. Did I add any bills by bill number? Oh, no. How about on key bills? Yes. Okay, let's use this one. So these are my key bills. So I have it currently set on the query tab to current session. So that means that when right now I'm getting all of the 2024 bills, I'm getting any pre-filed bills for 2025. So those are all jumbled together. And then January 1st or 2nd, whenever I get the chance to say it's a new year, then all of the 2024 bills will fall out and I will have only 2025 bills. So that is how it will just naturally progress if you have it set to be current session. But you don't have to, if that doesn't suit you, that's fine. So you can always change it to your timeline and say, you know what, I just want 2024 bills, don't show me 2025 yet. And so that's how you can control when the new bills show up. Or you could say, and Patsy will want me to point out, if you have it set to just 1 year, you've got to pull backwards before you can pull forwards, because the backwards dot's on top If you try to pull it forwards, you'll just get frustrated, and then you'll email us, and we'll help, but we'd like to avoid that frustration in the first place. You always have to drag backwards first. Nothing we can do about it. That's just how the timeline works. Anyway, so then I can move it up to 2025 and say, hey, just show me the bills that have been pre-filed. Or because New Jersey has a 2024-2025 session, you'll keep all your New Jersey bills in here if you do this. Virginia, of course, has some pre-filing or some carryover. West Virginia, a few other states do like some carryover. In those cases, those bills carry over, and it's not really a biennium, so the new bills show up and we put them in as new bills. So you'll see them in the 2025. All right, so that is how you can control, I only want to see 2024, I only want to see 2025, or if you just leave it as current session, you'll get they'll be jumbled up, but then they'll sort themselves out in January. Now, if you set the year, just remember you've got to change it when you're ready to change it. Or if you did this last year and you set it to 2024, now you've got to go set it to 2025. So it can roll over automatically if that's how you have it set, or you can control when it rolls over exactly by coming in here and doing the timeline. Okay, so that is how it works on bills. For regs, it's just a time frame. So you can either, your regs, you have the choice to set it for a rolling number of months, which is self-explanatory, or you have it set for a fixed time frame, and so you can nudge that. But we do suggest for your regs, like you do go in, this is a good time to kind of double check and make sure you're not looking at all the regs since 2019 or whatever, unless you want to be. But each year it makes sense to like nudge that up if you don't want to just set it to be a rolling year or 2 years or whatever. Okay, so that is how you change the time frame, and if you need to change the time frame. And it kind of depends on your purposes if you want to let it just do it itself. Okay, and we have how many states pre-filing, Stephen? Like a bunch already have their 2025 bills in.
Yeah, there's about 15, I think.
So, and there's going to be more before the end of the year. So you've got those in there and ready to go. And by the way, we've added in LCs from Montana, so you'll be seeing those as pre-files as well.
Yeah.
They're not bills. We generally, in the past, we haven't included them because they're not bills, but now we have. So they're in there. You can see the drafts. And if they become a bill, then we'll put the bill number on there.
Yeah. We have got a question about pre-files actually, which is whether we identify them separately. So do we have like a special designation on a bill sheet for pre-files, that kind of thing?
Perfectly good question. And it kind of depends on the state. So for one thing, if you have the session column, then you'll see right away that they are marked 2025. So that's one thing. But then also in the last action, they'll say filed or pre-filed or something like that often. So it depends on the state for exactly what the action is, but usually you can tell that way. But if you want to, you can add the session column for now, and then you can definitely tell. So that is my recommendation there. Perfectly reasonable question. Okay, so that is rolling your sheet over. So you decide when you want the new bills to show up, or you leave it and have us decide, and that will be January 2nd. Oh, wait, there's more. Okay, so then if you have added a bill with the plus or just by typing it right into the query tab, then those all show up down here. And we assume if you have a bill here, you want it, and we ignore everything up here. So we ignore the time frame, we ignore the words, everything. So you can always just add whatever bill. But some of these are going to be old and you're going to want to remove them. So if I hover over this remove, it'll show me what bills are from old sessions by turning them red. And you see that California is from 2024 session. So right now, it's only going to show things older than 2024 as old. So you'll want to come back in January and kind of clear these out if you don't want these old bills hanging out. So just remember, you're going to need to come back and do that. And all I do is click on the word remove, and that will actually do the removing for me. So I'm not actually going to remove those, but that's how that works. Also, on the hidden tab, And let's look for one where I've hidden some bills down here. So on the hidden tab, remember that we've got this here so that you can see the bills you've hidden and you can store them and search them and figure out whatever. We show you the last time it was amended, so you can see if you hid it since it was amended. So that's kind of the beauty of the hidden tab. And also you can sort by when you hid it, so you can find like the thing you hid most recently if you want to undo that. But also, if you hide a bill, it goes to this hidden tab and it just stays here. And so these are bills from old years. Like you can see, these are ones from all the way back in 2020, 2019, bills I hid a while ago. So they all just stay here and accumulate. And we do that on purpose because if you go to your query tab and type in a new term, but spell it wrong, and you get 0 results back, well, when you go and fix your spelling error, we don't want to bring back all the bills you've hidden. You don't want us to do that. That would be tragic. And we learned the hard way. That's not what we want. So we keep all the bills you've hidden. We keep track of that. You've already said you don't care about these. We're going to keep track of that fact. However, if I do want to come in here and find the bill that I just removed, having this be 163 rows is maybe like in my way. So update all will compare this to your query and say, okay, anything from old sessions that aren't on your query tab, we will remove. It will also check to see any bills that no longer meet your search terms, we will remove. So this will just remove all of the irrelevant bills, but save all of the bills that are hidden that currently apply. So if you want to, you can just say update and it'll remove hidden bills that don't matter anymore. So that's what that's for, is to clean that up so this is a shorter list so that it's easier to use next year. Be careful though, there's a button here called unhide all, which will put everything back. So look twice before you click the button. Look twice, click once. Okay, so that is all of the tidying up you need to do. So double check your time frame, make sure it's set the way you want to get the bills you want and the timing you want. If you've got any bills you've added by bill number, you're going to want to remove those early in January, and you might want to clean up your hidden tab, or maybe you don't care. So that is a fresh rolled over sheet ready for new bills. Anything I missed, Patsy?
Just like 5 huge exclamation points next to the point she made about if you put your bills on the bottom, if you move them there purposefully, they stay there. Okay. A lot of you will do this because you're moving something to something that then lives on the website. Okay. Great. Purposeful, intentional sharing. Love it. Your session may be over, may have been over for a while. Maybe you felt okay, or maybe you even feel okay for those to stay there until you put new ones on there. You need to decide, but it's not magically going to clear itself out when the calendar rolls over. If you put the bills there yourself, which makes sense if you're intentionally sharing publicly specific bills, they aren't just going to magically disappear.
Yes, that's exactly how people use this most often, Patsy. So perfect. So if that's you, you've got a widget with the bills you're sharing, and you've picked them on purpose, cherry picked them and said, here's the 10 I want to share. It's just one click. You just have to remember to go do it. So when you're ready to remove this year's bills from your website, go in there, click that remove, and that'll remove 2024 and just show 2025. And you're in control of when that happens. So you could wait till there's some new bills to share, or you could take them out now. Up to you, like what makes sense, or you could leave them there and keep running, whatever. So up to you whether you ever want to remove them and when you want to remove them. Thank you, Patsy. That's the perfect example for why you would want to be, when and how to do that. Okay. I pointed out New Jersey has a unique calendar. So after you roll over, you're still going to have New Jersey bills if you have a national search. Because any topic you've got, a bunch of New Jersey bills probably. Okay, same thing for regulations. As I mentioned, the time frame, it's a little bit different since obviously there's not sessions for regulations, but there is the rolling time frame which you can set up, or you can do it with a fixed time. Just go do that. Okay. And then we're going to cover this pretty quickly because we're running out of time and I want to make sure there's time for questions. So we have restructured how BillTrack50 works for subscriptions. We now just sell legislation tracking or regulation tracking. So all of our other products, scorecards, afternoon alerts, the AI tools, the group management, which is the enterprise management, that's all now bundled in and included. So you will now see scorecards and you'll be able to use mobile stakeholder pages, and all of that's going to be available to you in your subscription right now. So those have all been upgraded. Everything's been bundled together. We have also added regulation tracking by state. So if you just want to track regs in one state, that's now an option, and you can buy it right from the website. So that is another change we've made. So you can buy it by state still, 1 or 2 states, or you can get an unlimited subscription, still have unlimited users, but now you have all these other tools that are going to be available to you. Okay, and we haven't, so group management, by the way, if you have a bunch of coalitions that you're working with and you want to like put them all in little groups, or if you have state chapters and you would like them to all be able to share within the state, or if you have different departments and they want to share, like whatever kind of groups you've got, this group management tool is pretty great. So if that describes you, you've got distinct groups of people, and it would be great if they could all see the same bill sheets. Reach out to me or Patsy, and we will help you decide if that makes sense for you and then help you set it up. It is as easy to do as everything else in BillTrack50, and it's just nice so that everybody can be seeing the same bill sheets. Or you can ask the new chatbot, and he'll walk you through it. Okay, so the new prices. So because we bundled all that stuff in, and mostly because we've done all this AI stuff, which is unfortunately a little expensive, we haven't really raised our prices in a long time. We had to raise our prices, unless, depending what you're buying, so for some of you, the price went down, and you know who you are, and thank you for being customers. Okay, so one state, now $1,000 a state, $5,000 for national. And regulation tracking, as I mentioned, you can now buy it a state at a time, $2,500 for national. We also are now offering monthly payments, so you can opt in to just pay monthly. Obviously, to do that, you need to give us a credit card. If you want to pay by check, then you're going to want to do just the annual. But monthly payments does not mean monthly subscriptions. It's still an annual subscription. You can just pay us monthly. And then auto renew, we have finally given you the option to go ahead and auto renew. Patsy and I like to make sure you're happy before you renew. So it defaults to not auto renew, because especially your first year, we want to talk to you and make sure like everything's going well and you're happy and you want things to continue. But if you've been a customer for several years and you know that you're going to want to continue, we certainly want you to be able to continue. You can go in and flip the auto renew and it will just do that. Obviously, again, you'll have to give us a credit card for that. But then we'll just roll you over, charge you, and you can just keep going without ever having to worry about it. But you're still going to hear from me and Patsy. We're still going to ask you if you're okay, you know, because we care. Okay, and if you have a current subscription, then if you renew by January 1st, we are happy to give you your current pricing for another year, because we don't want to surprise anyone. We don't want to cause any trouble. So reach out to us if that's what you want to do, and we'll have to help you, but we can give you that discount so that you can keep your same price for 2025 before you see the price increase. And again, thank you for being a customer. All right, so really quick, what we're doing, obviously, we're going to be working on more AI. I mentioned all the regulation things we're hoping to do, including regulation summaries. And we're hoping to be able to do semantic searching. So being able to like chat with the bills and ask it questions in English instead of trying to come up with keywords. So that is where we're going with the AI next. I'm happy to hear your suggestions and ideas on where you think we should go and what you think we should add. We just announced in our newsletter, which if you haven't signed up for, you could consider doing that. We'll send you the link in the email we send you to thank you for coming to the webinar. We've added regex, which lets you search for a range of numbers. So if you're searching by statute number, then this can be a really nice way to keep a nice narrow thing on that. So if that is something you do a lot, you're doing compliance and you're just, searching for code citations, reach out and we can talk about if that is a feature that you want to use. Yeah. All right. And then here's all the resources we're going to send you in your email for you to look forward to. So we'll send you the link to the Help Center, a link to talk to us if you want to discuss any of the things that Patsy pointed out that we would discuss with you. The release notes to show you all the new things that we've done. Stephen, don't know if you put the latest stuff in the release notes. Probably should. A link to subscribe to the newsletter, and then the post that'll have all of these instructions with screenshots, along with the link to this webinar. All right, I'm sorry that I talk so long. I don't usually, but any questions before I let you guys go? Oh, thank you. Oh, look at you guys. You're so nice. I love you. I love you all. This is why I do it. All right, so if I could heart you back, I would. Okay, so you absolutely email us if we can help. We want this to go smoothly for you. This is, we're leaving the bienniums and starting new ones, so like everybody's rolling over. Let us help. So, any questions, Stephen?
Nope, no more questions.
All right, then I'm going to say goodbye. And Patsy, any final thoughts of wisdom?
If you get stuck, ask for help. That's it.
Okay. Yes. Don't bang your head against a wall. We are absolutely here. Coolio, thanks for coming, everybody. Merry Christmas and good luck in 2025. Bye.
Bye-bye.